Hey, so we thought we'd sit down in front of the camera a little bit and give a bit of an update on what's going on and what our plans are. Because the videos that we've got up until now are kind of behind on things that are happening. And with COVID and all, we've been talking a lot about
where we go next, really.
Yeah, what we do and where we go next. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting because there's all this thinking that goes on behind the scenes. I mean, pretty much all we talk about every day is, where are you going next? Where are you trying to get to? What are the things you need to have in place before you get there and stuff? And that all gets kind of lost a little bit. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of an insight into the, what we're thinking.
Another thing is just like there are weather windows, right, to be able to do certain things. So much as you can be like, take it slow and slow sail your way around whatever countries you want to be in, sometimes, there are seasons that are better to be in those places, and also there are better seasons to sail to other places. So that's something that we've had to keep in mind. We have made our way down to southern Spain now.
Yeah.
With the aim of crossing the Atlantic this year, or this season anyway.
Yeah, so the way, for any non-sailors out there, the way it usually works is you sail down to the Canaries for about November time, and then from the Canaries is where you would set off to cross the Atlantic, and it would take you about 3 weeks. So we've been working our way from France, down through Corsica and just heading west into Spain, and now we're right by Gibraltar, which is where you would head off to get down to the Canaries, which is about a week sail. And so being here has, forced us to think about, okay, this is the next phase. What about the Atlantic? What about crossing? What's happening when we get onto the other side of the Atlantic? Because until now, although we've always had that as our plan, we've really been focused on like the immediate sort of, okay, get to the next place, get out of the marina, get out of the anchorage, get to Corsica, get to the next place, and just sort of doing the jobs and things that were necessarily to keep moving step by step. And so now all of a sudden we're faced with this sort of big moment of like, okay, are we going for this? And we were planning on crossing until about, a few days ago.
Yeah, we've been back and forth for so long on the decision. As it got closer to actually crossing, we started looking at the situation over there, COVID-wise, to see if it was getting any better, because at one point there was the bubble that was put in place, which meant that if you were on one of the islands that was in that bubble within the Caribbean, then you wouldn't need to quarantine or take like a PCR test once you're in, basically. And then recently the bubble burst and we were like, okay, what does that mean for us?
Because it was the case with the bubble that, like, okay, it would be hassle to get into the Caribbean, you have to do a test and things, but then once you're in, you can move around, right? Mm-hmm. But now each country, each island effectively is its own zone, and you have to do a test in each place, and often quarantine, and some of the islands are just straight up closed, which, to be honest, isn't the end of the world, right?
No.
Like, that's okay as well. Like, you can make it happen, which is why this has been such a difficult conversation, because it would almost be easier if just everything was closed and we could say, okay, well, we can't go, but you kind of can go. And what's difficult to figure out is like, how enjoyable is it going to be, because it's going to be a lot of thinking and planning around COVID.
Yeah, and a lot of money spent on it too. If you need to take PCR tests everywhere,
True.
Then you got to pay for them, and they're sometimes like between $60 and $100. Not to mention, like the hassle of getting it and waiting for the results and things, and some places they even make you quarantine in a hotel, and like, then you've got to pay for the price of the hotel and stuff. On top of that, you've got like your regular customs prices too.
So it can add up a little bit. I think we would have probably landed on the side of going if it wasn't for wondering about what we would do in hurricane season.
Yeah.
Because we could get there, and then in June, July, you need to be out of the hurricane ban there. And usually you either go north to the US, which is closed, to us anyway, or you go south to either Trinidad and Tobago, which is closed, or Colombia, which is closed, or the Sandblast Island, which is closed. You could go all the way to Panama, but then we weren't planning to go through Panama just yet. So then you're going really far west to come all the way back. So it kind of creates a situation where there's a risk that you get stuck somewhere, and maybe we'll end up having to fork out a lot of money to fix the problem, either by having to fly home or put our boat up on the hard or something like that, and we just really don't
take whatever options available to us right at that point, which I don't think we're ready for that. And then not to mention your work as well.
That too, because I've been working on the boat for us.
Not working on the boat,
working from the boat. Yeah doing neuroscience research and teaching meditation, which has been going well, which is really great, and so there's plenty of work to do. But for us to be able to go this time and manage like the uncertainty with COVID and everything, I think that would have to be our 100% sole focus.
Yeah.
Because I mean, crossing the Atlantic is a pretty big deal anyway, and then you add on the extra stuff on top. But so for us, this is kind of the main way that we're making money right now is through that. Otherwise, we're living off some of the savings that Alex has from her job. So we're not ready to make that call. Really.
No, I think it's just all those different criteria together just mean that we're like, it's probably best to just not tackle it this year.
Not force it.
2020's been a weird year anyway, so we're not messing up necessarily.
I don't think we're the only ones whose plans are being interrupted by COVID.
And we, our plan B is still really good, right? And we're really happy with it. I think our plan B, just to kind of share a little bit on that, without giving too much detail or being like, that's our plan set in stone, because how much do you really make a plan when you're sailing anyway, right?
Whatever we say now is probably not what we're going to do.
But we're obviously in southern Spain, and we're thinking of probably hanging out here, keeping the boat here for the next couple of months at least. And then, depending on how things go COVID-wise, maybe we can go to Morocco. Maybe we can then at that point go across to Portugal, and then slowly start making our way down to Madeira maybe, and then the Canaries earlier on in the season, so we can enjoy the Canary Islands, because there's a lot to see and do over there. Maybe at that point, when we're ready, sail over to Cape Verde and actually cross.
This time next year, basically. November next year.
But yeah, that said, again, our plans could probably change again. Maybe we'll just turn 180 and be like, oh, we're not crossing next year, let's go all the way to Turkey.
But it's been pretty interesting, because I think part of what made the conversation really difficult, the decision really comes down to how we think about what this is.
Yeah.
Because if we think about this trip as just like a one-off, 2-year sabbatical kind of experience where we're going
a trip and like an adventure, right?
Which is how loads of people do it, and then we're just living off the savings that we've got. And then if we only have 2 years, then it's like, okay, let's just go, because we just want to do as much as possible in that time. If on the other hand, it's more like a long-term thing, and this is our home,
a lifestyle choice, really,
then there's kind of no rush, first of all, to go, and also then it kind of makes sense to take our time and go slowly and make sure that we're doing everything well and setting ourselves up properly, both with the boat and financially, taking the time to see here before we move to the next place, because we have the time to do it. So there's been a lot of soul searching around answering that question a little bit, and I think we'll still see how things pan out, but
that's our thinking on it anyways. So far we're actually probably going to head back to Almerimar, which is where we were in the last couple of weeks, where we took the boat out of the water, and we're going to take the boat back there just because it's a nice cheap marina, and really nice sunny days as well, so we're going to make the most of that, and we're just waiting for the winds to change so that we can kind of head back in that direction. I don't know, it'd be interesting to hear from any other sailors out there how you're thinking about COVID, particularly anybody crossing the Atlantic, what your thoughts are on where you're going to be staying and how you're going to be managing the situation there. And we've been talking to a lot of cruisers about it, and it's swayed our decisions quite a lot. We've sometimes been like, oh yeah, we really should. Let's go. Or like, let's just go.
Let's just go. Okay, fine, they're doing it, we can do it. But everybody's setup is so different, and everybody's plan is so different, and boat is so different, and financial situation is so different. It's really difficult to generalize, but it's fun to compare notes and learn from each other. So it'd be interesting to hear. I think if for anybody out there who's thinking to do something like this themselves, there's this balance of kind of just going for it, and because you're never going to feel ready and the timing's never going to be perfect. And that's kind of where I sit on that spectrum. Me too, usually. I know. Usually, this kind of, you just got to go for it and be confident in your own skills and your own abilities that you're going to make it work. But then also, there's a bit of reality to how actually you're going to make it work, and making decisions that are for you and based on your situation, not trying to replicate exactly what everybody around you is doing, because they probably have a completely different setup. Cool. Well, that's pretty much it. We just wanted to share a little bit around our plans. Follow us along on Instagram if you want some more live updates, or kind of more to see where we're at the moment. And thank you for watching. If you're new, then please subscribe to our channel if you like what we do. See ya. Bye.